Good morning, friends. Okay, so let's get honest. Raise your hand if you have an area of your life where you really want to put yourself out there. Maybe it's in relationships, maybe it's with your career, maybe it's with just speaking up and being more confident, being more authentically you, doing what you really, really love. Raise your hand if you have an area of your life that you want to put yourself out there more in and you are playing small or hiding or holding back. If that is you, or if you relate to that, then this is definitely the place that you want to be for the next 30 minutes or so, because we're going to be diving in today really the 5 top reasons why we play small in the first place. We're going to be getting into this. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of personal, a personal story about my own experience with playing small. And then we're going to get into 3 things that you can start doing right now to shift that pattern so that you can live more authentically, so that you can actually cultivate the confidence to shine your light and to put yourself out there in the world. Pam, so lovely to have you here with us. And Ian, so good to see you as well. So for those of you who I have not met, I am Debbie Lichter, founder of Freedom Embodied Academy. And it is just my absolute honor to support men and women on getting free from food or whatever addictions are holding them back so they can truly, truly, authentically shine their light and put themselves out there in the world. And so, today's topic is just, it's such a passionate topic for me. And I remember so clearly when I was thinking about this topic today, because I've been speaking with a lot of people this week about this topic. It's been coming up a lot, which is why I decided to share about it here today. And when I was thinking about it, I remembered this time when I had my Pilates studio and I was invited to actually be on TV. It was New Year's. It was going to be for New Year's Day. I was invited to go on for New Year's Day. Now, imagine this. You're a new studio owner, fitness studio owner, you're in the health and wellness industry, you've just opened up your doors, and you're now just given an opportunity to be featured on the news where it's all about New Year's resolutions, it's all about health and wellness, and you get invited to go there with this total feature spot and share about, your top tips for getting healthy in the new year and for losing weight and all this kind of stuff. So this is the invitation that I got. It was like a friend of a friend. I got this phone call, and I remember this person called me. I remember it was this guy, and he was so excited. He was so enthusiastic. He's like, "Hey, I got this opportunity for you." And I remember I was standing there in my Pilates studio. My Pilates studio had like mirrors on one wall, and I remember standing there on the phone, looking in this mirror, and just looking at myself up and down in this little black outfit that I'm wearing and like just telling myself, you're not enough. You are not enough. You're not the right person for this. You're going to make an idiot of yourself. You're a Pilates teacher. You're not like a weight loss coach or a health and fitness boot camp person. You're the wrong person for this. You're going to look stupid. You're not going to get it right. I remember just looking in the mirror and I just felt this like sinking feeling in my stomach because I'm like, there is no way I am going on the morning news, the Friday morning news to talk about health and fitness. I'm the wrong person for this. And I remember saying to him, you know what? I don't really know that that's my thing. I don't know. And I had a mentor at the time. Awesome guy who is all that. He's exciting and he's fun and he's into boot camps and he's energetic and I'm like, he's the perfect person for this. And I said, you want to speak to Todd. You want to talk, the person you don't want me, you want Todd. And I gave him Todd's information and he goes, are you sure? Like, this is a really, like, you just opened this is a really good opportunity. I mean, he could not believe that I was passing it up. But that part of me that was just afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, afraid of judgment, afraid of looking stupid, afraid of looking bad, afraid of being the wrong one, afraid of not getting it right, like all the things that came up, I was like, and no way I am doing this. And so I passed off the opportunity to my mentor. He did it. He did awesome. You know, he was full of thanks, and, you know, and I got to kind of feel like, oh, I was just being of service to everybody and to the greater good. And this is how it was supposed to be. But deep down, let me tell you, deep down, I was playing small. I was playing small. I looked in that mirror and I saw my reflection and I said, you are not enough. You are not enough. And so I am curious, if you're listening here today, have you ever had that moment where you just think to yourself, no way, you are not enough. You're going to get judged. You're not the right kind. You don't have what it takes. You're going to get rejected. You're going to look stupid. If you have ever had one of those voices happening in the back of your mind, I want you to say not enough in the comments, because this is such a big theme and we don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about it enough. So today we're going to be talking about it. So I want to know, do you relate to that? Do you have your own version of that? And I also want to know, another word I'd like to see, or another phrase I'd like to see in the comments, is I'd like to see what area of your life you really, truly want to put yourself out there more in. You want to authentically have the confidence to shine your light in. Is it in your relationships, right? Is it putting yourself out there authentically for love? I had to do that. I did that. I have my own journey with that. We can do a whole new video on that. Is it with career, with purpose, with business? Been there too. Been there too. Is it with just being more fully expressed? Like, you know, I was speaking with someone just, you know, within the last couple of days who's talking about, I just want to be able to be more fun. I feel like I'm so serious all the time. I feel like I'm, you know, I'm a certain way at work. I get really serious, and I want to be more creatively expressed, right? I want to have more fun. I just want to be more giddy, more jovial, but it feels like that's not really what's expected of me. You know, I have to play this role. I've got to be this person. So what area of your life are you really feeling like, I'm playing small here and I really want to more authentically, more confidently shine my light in? So you can post that in the comments as we continue here. So, and what I'd like to get into, hey Fizz, yeah, I never thought I'm not enough in my conscious mind, but perhaps in my subconscious mind. Absolutely, absolutely. I think that that's how it plays out. And so what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to actually go into 5 top reasons why we get into this playing small thing. And I want you to listen for areas where you might consciously, or as Fizz says, subconsciously, be snagged by these patterns. Okay. Hey, Catherine, so glad that you're with us. So the first one is just that straight up fear of failure. And I think that this is one of those default ones for people. It's like, oh, I'm just going to fail. I'm just going to fail. And we sort of like, it's almost like it's this justified, oh, well, I'm going to fail, so therefore I'm justified in not even trying. And the fear of failure is such a common thing that we talk about, you know, that it's so widespread that it's like, it's almost like it's legitimate. It's almost like it's a legitimate reason. But I mean, trust me, I know that fear of failure, and especially if you have perfectionistic tendencies, especially if you have like really, really high standards for yourself, if you're one of those people who kind of like has these ultra high standards for yourself and gets really, really judgmental with yourself and with others. We're going to get into those as well, into the judgments. But there's just this overall fear of failing, fear of not getting it. And, you know, the fear of looking bad with all of that. So it's the fear of looking bad. It's the fear of making a fool of yourself. So just notice, do you have that fear of failure? Is that one of the things that has you playing small, hiding, holding back, not putting yourself out there? Is it just the straight up fear of failure? It comes up a lot with business. It comes up a lot in relationships too, actually. It comes up with a lot of things. I know that for me personally, I never used to do anything that I didn't already know I'd be good at. I mean, I just wouldn't. You know, and so if you relate to that at all, then that might be one of the things that's going on for you. The second one is this, the judgment from others. So like I said, I'm sitting there talking to this guy on the phone. He's invited me to be on TV, to be featured for the, on the 1st of January. What health and fitness professional wouldn't want that? And I'm like, all I can think about is people are going to judge me. People are going to judge me because I'm not the kind of person that should be doing that. I'm not a weight loss expert. I'm not a boot camp expert. I'm a Pilates teacher. I'm all into the nuance of connecting in your body. That's not what mainstream media wants. I'm the wrong fit for that. People are going to judge me. And people are going to say, who does this little girl think she is? Who is she? So if you ever have that idea, if you have that kind of voice going on in the background of your mind, again, if you're relating to any of these, put which one you're relating to in the comments, just so we know, and maybe we can kind of see. We're not here to call anyone out, but it's really just, gosh, I think I'm recognizing that pattern, or hey, I'm recognizing all the patterns, because oftentimes these all go together. Like the third one, which is the self-judgment, right? So there's the judgment of others, and then there's the self-judgment. And that's where, that I'm not enough, or I'm not the right kind, whatever judgment or judgment call you're making on yourself. I don't have what it takes, or I'm not good enough for that, or whatever I do isn't enough. Like whatever that self-judgment is. I speak with so many people who are just, so bogged down, so weighted down by the negative thoughts, by the negative thinking patterns. So if you are someone who gets so down on yourself, who's so mean to yourself in your head, and you've got lots of negative thinking, who do you think you are? You're worried about what other people think about you, but you're even more critical about yourself. Who do you think you are? You don't have what it takes. What are you talking about? You're a fraud. If any of that stuff happens for you, then that's this third reason why people will hide or hold back. Now, the fourth one takes us in a slightly different direction. The fourth one takes us in the direction of, if you put yourself out there, you have more responsibility. You need to show up. You can't continue to hide and hold back as soon as you start putting yourself out there. And so some of us have a fear of responsibility. Right? What do they say? With great power comes great responsibility. It's like, oh my gosh, now I can't hide. I'm committed. I'm accountable. I'm putting myself out there. And what if I disappoint? What if I disappoint? What if I let others down? And so there's so much that can happen with all of that. And this is a big deal. I remember, again, lots of stories from the Pilates studio today. I remember having this fear. Now, again, being an owner of a Pilates studio that's just opened, what you want to do is you want to have open hours that people can come into, have lots of classes on the schedule. But I was so afraid initially of like getting overwhelmed, being too responsible, too accountable to too many people, that I remember I would make my hours so limited. I remember that I did that in the beginning, and so I relate to that. Tell me if you relate to that too. That fear of, oh my gosh, if I actually were to put myself out there, I'm going to be more responsible. So it's easier for me to play small. It's easier for me to hide and hold back. It's easier for me to make excuses than to actually be accountable out there in the world. This is a big one. This is a really, really big one for people. Okay, so the fifth one, this is perhaps lying underneath all the other ones, even though the other ones feel so core, and we love to just like dive into that and dive into those ones. It just feels so, just like co-signing on our own inadequacy, in our own story of inadequacy, and trust me, like I've been there, trust me. But this fifth reason is a little bit different. This fifth reason is fear of your true power and light. It's fear, right? It's that Marianne Williamson quote. It's the fear that it's not that you're too small, that you are so bold and bright, that you are brighter than you could ever imagine. And that is scary. It's fear of your own power, your own majestic power, your own light, the beauty that is you. There's a fear of that sometimes. Who am I in that context? Am I going to threaten other people? Is it going to threaten my relationships? This is a huge, huge thing. You know, if I have anyone from Australia listening to this right now, or anyone from that region of the world, then just give a little shout out, say, hey, I'm here. But they have a term in Australia called the tall poppy syndrome. And, you know, if you think about like a field of poppies, if you have one poppy that's growing too tall, that poppy gets cut off so that the field can actually be level. And so there's this idea of like that whether we are Australian or not, we all have this to one extent or another. If I grow too big, if I grow too bright, I'm going to be cut down to size. I'm going to be a threat to others. It's going to actually separate me from others. I'm going to feel even more isolated than I do right now. It's not a good thing. And so what I need to do is I need to dim my light. I need to dim my light, not shine it so brightly, and try to fit in, go with the flow a little bit more. This is some of the stuff that can happen. So again, do you have a fear of not that your light isn't bright enough, but that you actually have a really big bright light? That you are, you know, I see this come up a lot with those of us who feel like we're too much. So if you have that thing of too much, you might also have the thing of not enough, right? Not enough of what you're supposed to be, too much of what you're not supposed to be, too loud, too big, too bold, too bright, right? If you have some of this going on, then this might be one of the reasons why you are playing small, dimming your light, hiding and holding back. So I want to hear from those of you who are relating to any one of these top reasons. You can say reason 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Reason 1 is fear of failure. Reason 2 is judgment from others. Reason 3 is that self-judgment. Reason 4 is that responsibility that putting yourself out there creates. And reason 5 is the fear of your true light, your true power, of being so bright that you don't even know if you can handle it, and you certainly don't think that others can either. So this is some of the stuff that is going on, that is playing out for us. And what I want to get into right now, the juicy part that I want to get into right now, is what to actually do instead in order to stop playing small, in order to get on that path of authenticity and of truly having the confidence to shine your light in the world. And as you've heard me share in other videos, you know, when I talk about confidence, I'm not referring to that bravado of like, here I am and I'm doing this. And, you know, confidence is oftentimes what I find is it's courage. It's courage. It's willingness to put yourself out there. And so I want to share with you some ways to start to bridge that gap where you have yourself playing small, hiding and holding back. You have this part of your life that you want to be more fully expressed. And I want to help you to bridge that gap in order to get there. So the first secret here is what I refer to as flirting with failure. So if you have a fear of failure, if that's ever been in your, you know, in your psyche, then I invite you to flip that, to reframe that, and to consider flirting with failure. I'll tell you another quick story. And you might have heard me share this before, but I had a friend. This is when I moved to South Africa because I was going to work for Cosmopolitan Magazine. And in South Africa, it's just like Britain, where they drive on the, you know, the opposite side of the road than we do in the United States. And Cape Town, which is where I was living, is a very, very hilly city. Okay, I needed to get a car, and cars are very expensive there. And so I needed to get a stick shift. I never had driven a stick shift before. And now I needed to learn how to drive a stick shift on the other side of the road in one of the hilliest cities around. And I was mortified. I was mortified. And the fear of failure was just like, had me just stricken. I mean, I just was so tense in my body and I was so anxious. And the date of my first day of school, you know, my first day of working at Cosmo was approaching, and I needed to be able to drive there, and there was hills going there. And I had this friend, and he was just an angel in my life. And he said, right, we are going to, I'm gonna help you. We're gonna practice driving. And he took me in his car. It was this really nice BMW. And we went to this empty parking lot. And he goes, get behind the wheel. I got behind the wheel. And he said, okay, all we're gonna do in today's session is practice stalling. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna practice stalling. I was like, is he serious? And he was serious. And so all I did was practice stalling. You should have seen the other cars, the people in the other cars. They were like, who is this pathetic person in the car? But I just practiced stalling again and again and again. I practiced falling, essentially. I practiced failing again and again and again. And guess what happened? After a while, and if you've driven stick shift before, you know what I'm talking about. The car starts to like sputter or putter out. It kind of starts to like get a little bit shaky towards the end, right before it's about to stall. And I started to develop a sense for when that was about to happen. And then I was able to stop it right there. I was able to stop it and not let it go into stalling. And in letting myself fall or fail, I actually got more confidence. I felt more secure. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't die. I didn't die. I just stalled. I didn't die. And now I've got a feel for what that feels like. And it was a game changer for me. And let me just tell you, I never stalled again. I never stalled. I got my car. I never stalled. I went on those roads. I went on those hills. I never got into an accident. Like, things actually worked out. And I think it had everything to do with being willing to flirt with failure. And so if that inspires you, I encourage you to consider what's an area of your life today that you are willing to flirt with failure, with just trying something out. And this brings me to secret number 2. Secret number 2 is to reframe the aim. Reframe the aim, okay? So normally our aim is, I have a particular outcome, right? I want to put myself out there because I want love. I want to be in a relationship. I'm going to start this business because I want to help more people, right? I want to shine my light because it's just, I want to help more people. I want to put myself out there. So we usually have this outcome. And then what happens is that then the fear comes up because we have this attachment to the outcome. Right? I want more friends. I want to go to social things. I want more friends. You understand? And so we get so attached to a particular outcome. And that can have us judging ourselves, fearing the judgment of others, fearing like we're going to fail, fearing the responsibility, fearing our own light. You get the idea. So here is the invitation for you. Instead of focusing on the outcome, focus on who you get to become on the other side of taking that first little step. Because here is what I've seen to be true. If you are willing, if you have something that you want to do, if you are willing to reframe that it's not about having a certain outcome, but that you get that just by you crossing the threshold of your own familiarity zone, of what's safe and what's predictable, on the other side of you crossing that threshold, you will catapult into a more expansive, authentic, connected version of you. You will feel freer on the other side of that, even if going into it, you have anxiety and your heart's pounding and you're sweating and you can't even think straight and all this stuff is happening. As you just let yourself show up in that and you move through that threshold, something powerful happens for you on the other side of it. I've experienced it more times than I can even count, and I've seen it happen for others, and it is so powerful, and I want you to have that experience too. And so if you want to move beyond playing small, hiding, holding back, then stop focusing on the outcome. Focus on who you get to become on the other side of blasting through your familiarity zone. I can promise you that you will never, ever regret it. You will never, ever regret it. Okay, so I want to get into number 3, and it kind of, the number 2 secret kind of tees us up for number 3. So here it is. And then I also, P.S., I have a bonus one for you. I've got a bonus secret for you, so stick around for that. Again, we are talking about how to stop playing small. If you are relating to this, if you're resonating to this, if it's helpful for you, then just put a thumbs up in the comments. Just put a thumbs up. Let me know that this is of value to you. Feel free to share it with a friend or share it on your page or whatever calls to you if that is resonant. And as we get into secret number 3, okay, so we have this pattern. If you're listening to this training today, this video today, then you're probably really relating to the pattern of playing small, of hiding and holding back. So the number 3 secret here of how to stop playing small is start by starting small. Go from playing small to starting small. Here is what I mean by that. Oftentimes, we have this idea of like, I want to be in love, right? But then we're like taking that like 10 steps ahead, right? I want to get married, or I want to have kids, or, you know, I want to have a lifetime partner. And it becomes this big, big goal that then can feel really overwhelming. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with that. And that feels scary to me. And what if I fail? And what if the relationship fails? And what if I get rejected again? And like all our stuff comes up, right? Same thing with, you know, starting a business. It's like, I want to go help more people. I want to impact millions. I want to shine my light. I know I've got so much to offer. I want to speak my truth. I want to share my story. I know that there is some gifts inside of me that need to be unleashed. Right? We have all these great, great ideas, and then we get paralyzed by, but what if I'm not ready? What if no one cares? What if no one wants what I have? Right? And we can just get completely paralyzed by that and inert, like not taking any action. So again, if you're relating to this stuff, or maybe you're kind of doing something, like maybe you've started to work in your business a little bit, but now what's really going to be required of you, maybe you have a couple certifications or you want to put yourself out there, but now the next step of that, the next level of that is that now you really need to put yourself out there. You need to pick up the phone, right? You need to go and speak. You need to somehow market yourself so that people can find you. And this is, again, where a lot of stuff can come up. So the idea of starting small is great. You want to be in a lifetime relationship? Awesome. Why don't you create a match profile? Like, start small, right? You want to help millions and impact thousands and whatever? Great. Start by helping one person. If you are already helping one person and you want to grow to a bigger level, great. Just make one phone call, one reach out call, right? Book one appointment to go and speak in front of a group of people, right? So bring it down, like chunk it down and start small. I wish that someone would have told me this when I first got started in my businesses, because I was constantly making myself wrong and feeling ashamed because I'm like, I'm just here, you know, I'm just doing, like, what am I doing, you know? And it's like, oh my gosh, if you're just doing that one thing that is on the trajectory of your true purpose, that is more than what most of the population on this planet is doing. That is so great, big, huge, that's incredible. That is so incredible. And so get rid of all that self-judgment. Be where you are today. Start small. Do the very next thing in front of you. If you're not sure what that very next thing is, I mean, I invite you to just get quiet and to consider, like, what is that thing? Because oftentimes our inner guidance will speak to us if we just get quiet enough and get out of our heads enough. And if you're like, no, I really have these different ideas and I'm just really not sure. If you want some support, if you want some guidance, I'm so here for you. Like, I'm so here for you. You can grab some time on my calendar, just go to getsupport.today. And I'm so happy to help you with that. for you to get the clarity on what is that, just that next step. How can I start small here? How can I go from this huge, great big idea into an actionable step that's going to allow me to get onto the trajectory of my path of purpose? So honored to help you with that. And that actually brings me to my bonus secret, the fourth secret. And that is to get accountability, going on in your life. This is something that we do in the Freedom Embodied Academy. There's something that I refer to with the ladies in the academy called bookending, which is if you have something that is intimidating you, something like, let's say it's making a phone call. I was talking to one of the ladies in the academy, and she wanted to make a phone call to reach out to see if her services could be used in these different facilities. And it was intimidating and it was scary. And I said, great. So let's just connect beforehand, share with me what you want to do, call it into action. I'm going to hold space for you. I'm going to shine light at you. I'm going to hold this loving container for you. You got this, sister. And then go do the thing, and then bookend it by coming back and sharing what your experience was. Again, not doing it for the outcome, but doing it for who you get to become on the other side of taking that step that felt great, big, huge, scary, of flirting with the failure. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't work out, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna have that experience so that I can expand into a more authentic version of me, and that it'll give me the confidence to shine my light in an even more profound way. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to get accountability going in your life. Now, if you don't have accountability, if you're not surrounded by people who love on you, people who are holding your light and holding a space for you to more authentically shine your light, if you have a lot of people who you think, if I shine brighter, they're going to be threatened, then I say find a community. And if you don't have a community, come and join us over in the Congruence Collective. If you're not already in the Congruence Collective, come over and be there with us. You can go to liveyourlight.today, liveyourlight.today, the Congruence Collective Facebook group. The Congruence Collective Facebook group is all about, it's dedicated to supporting folks in authentically shining your light, in feeling comfortable in your skin, in living free from whatever addiction or pattern is holding you back from being able to be more authentically you. This is what the group is all about. We have stuff going on in there all the time. There's a little mini challenge going in there right now that, you know, is just really designed to support you in connecting more deeply with yourself, with your inner guidance. So this is the stuff that is so important. Get accountable, flirt with failure, reframe the aim, do things for who you can become, not for the outcome, right? And go from playing small to starting small in your life. What is one thing that you can do to start small on the trajectory, on the pathway of your purpose, of what is calling you forward in this life, of the ways that you are being guided to authentically shine your light in the world? This is the stuff that I'm so here to support you with, and would love, love, love to hear what from you is what you're being called to do. What are you being called to do in the world? Please share that in the comments. It's been so wonderful to be here with you today, to connect here with you live. If you're listening to the recording, please feel free to share in the comments. I will go back, I will read, I will comment. Fizz, we have a couple comments from you. Yes, beautiful. You feel like a Lakota medicine woman stuck in a white man's body. A big part of me doesn't want to be this, but obviously I am. It's kind of weird. I love that. Awesome. Very, very beautiful. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your sharing around this topic. And more importantly, I want to hear how you are taking action, small baby step action in the direction of your dreams. So thank you again for taking this time out, sharing it with me. I hope it was of value to you today, and I will connect more with you next time. Bye for now. Mwah.